Okay, this is a demo about Assistant GM in Fantasy Grounds Unity, provided in the Forge by Grim Press. Basically, the entire extension is to allow players to gain full access of an NPC or vehicle regardless of faction. In order to show this, I've got a client on the left here, and he's currently running three different PCs. We've also got a host over here on the right. There's three PCs, a neutral NPC, a hostile NPC, a vehicle cart, and a mule. What I'm going to show is how it shares these two players. When you get Assistant GM, you'll get these 4 button fields up here in Combat Tracker. And you also get one option, which you should never change. It's always going to be on. It's actually a shared option with polymorphism, and it's just kind of left there. Don't touch it. The other one that you should never, ever, 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 ever use is the FGU option for party vision and movement. This is a horrible option in my world. I just never use it if you're using my extensions. This gives you some half-assed partial ability to have lots of people touch things and is nowhere near providing full control for one player. That's pretty much for the options. There's not much here for that. The other thing I should note is that when you actually pull down this list, this has a list of all the people who have ever logged into this campaign until a clear all is set, and it resets the list. This also causes these 2 buttons, clear and grant NPC, to apply to whatever's selected here. In this case, there's 2 ways to actually give players control of things. One is to set that particular player to have an NPC access. When they do, anything they see in Combat Tracker will get this icon here on the right, and they can take full control of the entry, whether it be an NPC or vehicle, and regardless of the faction. And it also has a little hide thing here, so most people are going to be running. When I hit a middle mouse button, it also supports bringing up the sheet with that, because there was trouble in FGU with double clicking. Would get into trouble, and so it may not be the case anymore, but middle mouse is still supported to bring up any sheet you want. Most people tend to run their sheets from here, which my players never do. I never do. I run it from here, right? I'm going to just attack and do things, and as you can see, it's a full control. You're doing everything that you get access to in the host here on the right. So this little hide thing is, if you take control of a lot of things, right, it can get pretty crowded in your real estate for the CT. And I've taken control of everything, and of course anything I click on, that in FGU is going to have the vision, right? So if I click on this guy, and I can only click on things I own. I have to own everything because I just set everything, right? But you should always remember that when you have these things set, they have the vision. Like if I set this guy with the vision, and then I go back here and I basically turn off my control for him. I'm just going to turn off my control for everybody. But when I turn off my control from him, he no longer has the vision. And if I turn this, I can't click on anybody now except the guys I owned, right? Which are the three guys. Now, if I turn off the Grand NPC, then they lose all their control of everybody that they had, and they won't have the option to do it. The other way to do this is to say I take a link and do the same thing FGU does, where I drag it onto a portrait. Now, because I'm the same user for all 3 of these, I could drop it on anybody, but it's basically giving that user full ownership of what I just dropped in. And it'll also select them. And if you had like a whole bunch of space here, if you double click on this, it'll make sure that Combat Tracker displays him in the space it has to display. That's something like the middle mouse button that's provided by this feature. It's something I just wanted. Now, once I have ownership of him, right, he now owns this mule. He can do whatever he wants with him. He's part of the party, essentially, and he's controlling him. He owns him. So when it becomes his turn, you know, if I'm over here and I go through, you can see where he's got the vision, he's got the vision, he's got the vision, and it comes down here, young dragon. The young dragon's there, and if I don't own him, so I'm not going to get it in this case. I don't own him. If I come down to the orc, don't own him, nothing happens. Cart. I guess I left the cart as... Nope, I don't own the cart. It's just showing me the icon. I couldn't click on him or do anything. But when I come to the mule, of course, I do own him. And there he is. And of course, I can do him and whatever else. So those are the two ways, grant NPC and dragging over here. And grant NPC is smart enough to know that if you have one of these dragged over, like I can turn on the cart and I'll own it, turn it off. I cannot use that button for the guy who was dragged over because it knows he's a permanent access. And in order to get rid of anything, you can clear all, which will wipe everything and all ownerships. But you can also do it individually where you just take the link and you drag him over the clear, right? And that just removes his ownership. He's no longer owned by this guy. And those are the two ways to grant ownership and control things. You can do a lot of things with this, especially as the fact that I have players who only run NPCs. I'll have King of the Hills where everybody's a dragon or some big monster and they all fight each other in a map. They have no PC in their CT because the PC is only used to own things and it isn't actually in the map. And basically the combat tracker in another extension I'll show can limit what's here. But there's lots of things you can do if you use your imagination. That's about it.